It remains a basic truth that one who please and affect majority makes history that will lead posterity to greater heights. Generations without these heroes remain unattractive to historians. Few great minds over time have influenced the attraction of various publics with works and attributes quite larger than their standing in the society. This description fits the personality of quintessential teacher, prolific writer, educational administrator, geographer, linguist, and historian, Chief Elder Efiong Ukpong Aye. Born on the 15th of June 1918, Pa Efiong Ukpong Aye, popularly called EU Aye, is a native of Adaguko, Western Calabar, Creek Town in Odukbange local government area of Cross River State. Raised by a very strict mother who paved the way for him to surmount the rigors of the academic world, EU Aye is an outstanding scholar.
In the school where I was, we studied, and I was becoming very popular with his classmates. Each time school finished, I came home in the evening. My classmates could come. What do you want? I want to study with you. Every time they were beginning to make this a duty. And my brother was not, I was not happy with it. So he made an arrangement with one Mr. Efiong, who was headmaster of Edidep School, Akwa Ibom. Sent me to go and study there. I left my former school. I lost all those friends. And then I was now at the I reached standard 6. Went to take the standard 6 examination. That class, we were only 20 who were qualified to take that exam. We went and sat that examination. When we finished sitting that exam, that means we were supposed to have graduated from that primary school. I had no job. We never received a result yet. So one Mr. Ukpong, because they were always, I told you that they have a drinking parlor opposite, came and asked me, Efiong, and I'm saying the army, asked me what I was doing after we finished the exam. I told him I had nothing. He said, would you like to come and be a messenger for us? During that time, that man, the messenger was going on leave. So I consulted my mother because you've got to do that. She was a very strict woman. She agreed to go and try your luck. So I was when they gave me, what they wanted to know was whether I could ride a bike. I said yes, because that job entailed going on a bicycle every day. Well, that district office, the distance from my house was the same as from here to Efiong. You know Efiong? Go on a bicycle, deliver the telegram, you come back. So many shops added to Kubudi, French company, PZ, Makaiba, all USAs. And they had their headquarters in Calabar. And they communicated with those shops by telegram. And these telegrams were directed to the district office. And the DO must keep special messenger there to be doing delivering.
After he passed Standard 6 brilliantly, he had the choice of making a career as a clerk in then Colonial District Office in Calabar or as a teacher in the village. Due to the burning desire to be who he is today, Ete Aye studied on his own because there was nobody capable enough to assist him through school.
To leave secondary and teacher training. I carried on teaching. All of a sudden they remove all primary away. I began to think, say, what will happen to me if I continue like this as a teacher and want to progress, I had to take what they call senior teachers certificate examination, qualifying 2 subjects. You take them differently, different years. I told them, I began to tell them, that university there, you hear of university, why can I not go in there? I said, no, you can't go in until you pass London University matriculation. It was a tough examination set by London University throughout the world. If you pass London matriculation, you are fit to enter any university in the world. Then 5 subjects you must pass. Latin, mathematics, Latin and English compulsory. For now. And you take 2 more subjects in addition, making 5 subjects. So I decided, somebody advised me to take postal tuition from Wolsey Hall, Oxford. When I got my salary, I sent their money. And I began to study. They gave me textbook. In fact, this is one of the dictionaries. This is here with me. This dictionary was one of those they prescribed for me. We had to go to Port Harcourt. Calabar had no center. We had to go to Port Harcourt to take that exam. And we took that exam in the district office. The Board of Governors of whom all decided to offer me a scholarship to go and study abroad and to come back. They asked me if I would like to. I said yes. I'm matriculated. That examination was tough, sir. The whole of the eastern region were 25, and only 5 passed it. God was helping me everywhere. So they sent me to a school, King's College, Newcastle upon Tyne, a branch of University of Durham, Northern England. I entered. Now before I left Calabar, they prepared, the whole world prepared everything for me, passport and all. But that morning that I was to leave, a driver came to take me down to the beach because I had to, from the beach to Oron, from Oron to take the lorry to Lagos. And then my boat was in Lagos.
There were no flights.
Huh?
There were no flights
No,
there.
in those days. Aeroplane was not very popular. So that morning he took me. Instead of going to the beach, he took me, said, "Principal wants to see you." He took me to the principal, and I hoped I was going to be given money. When I went, principal told me, said, "Well, we are giving you this scholarship, but please you sign a little agreement." And he brought me an agreement to sign. They put there that I should come back and serve the institution for 20 years. I never read it, and was only half an hour left for the boat to leave. So I told him that, please, I can't sign it. The boat is already down. I have not even read it. He said, I take the agreement along. When you settle down there, you sign it and post. That was what happened. I took the thing away. When I got to Lagos, they gave me a passage in MV Accra, a very big boat that connected Lagos and Liverpool. I got inside on board. On and on, while I was moving around in the boat to see this new place, new sight, the beauty of the ship, I saw Albany Koku. You've heard of that name? 10 naira notes. He was an old student. And in his day, when he took matriculation, he was the only one who passed it in West Africa. That man. So he saw me and said, "How? Dakamong." You see, he's a vet because his mother is from deep down here. So I was surprised. The whole world gave me scholarship. He said, the world give you scholarship? You must be exceptionally lucky man. Then he asked me, anything he give you agreement? I said, yes, he gave me an agreement to sign. Go and bring it. I went and produced the agreement and he read it. He said, don't sign it. Don't sign it. This is no scholarship. It is window dressing. That was the first time I learned that language. He said, these people are cheating you. They want to cheat you. You are not a slave. Look, for people to do a thing like that, government gave them this scholarship to give to people. And government puts a regulation that when you finish your studies, you serve in wherever you want, you have to serve for 5 years. After 5 years, you can leave. Or if you prefer, you can stay on. So instead of 5 years, they put down 20 years. Go and write to them that it was not good. So when I got to Liverpool, I got to England. They never sent me one kobo. And you can imagine that. One kobo. Oh, winter was coming, no money to buy overcoat. University fee not paid. Hotel fee, no money.
Through hard work, he sat for school entrance examination at home and passed the entrance examination to become one of the very few candidates who got admitted into the famous Waddell Teachers College, which was then the only one teachers college in the eastern region of Nigeria.
Now result came. Standard 6 examination, I was one of the successful candidates. Out of the 20 candidates who sat that exam, only 8 passed. You know how strict those in those days. And the job we wanted to do was always to be a people teacher, because no opportunities open. So you have to go to the manager, Reverend MacDonald, to apply. I went to him and his man told me, well, there is nothing we can do. The people here want their children to be engaged. And you are a stranger. So when I came back, I met my friends who were employed. They bought their books, they were studying for people teachers examination. They were reading their textbooks and quoting areas of the literature. When I came back, I said, all these boys are passing me and I'm not doing anything. I go to the district. I went to Mr. Ban, telling me I won't stay here. Mr. Ban said, I want to go and teach. Mr. Ban condemned teaching profession terribly. So you are going to waste your time. No money, you see a teacher, poor people. So I convinced me. When I came home again, I saw people studying. The other boys. I said, no, this won't happen. I took a bicycle to the manager at the Korean. And he said, well, the only school I have for you is an unassisted school. And he stopped in standard 3. What are you paying? You are the district office. I said, 17 shillings and 6 pence a month. He said, oh, that school is not assisted. You only get 15 shillings. That means I lost 2 and 6. I told him I would go and accept that one. Manager said, all right. So I went to Mr. Akpan and told him that I was going. Mr. Akpan was unhappy. He sent me to write an application to the district office, to the district officer, requesting that any opportunity coming, it should be a clerk. No, SAR 6 in those days, it's no more SAR 6 now. It was a better thing. So I wrote that application, he looked at it and corrected it, put it in my file and put it in front of the DO. DO read through it and said, wait till vacancy arises. J.B.J. Chapman. The man told me, there you are. I told you that man likes you. So I was waiting. And each time I came back from work, the boys were coaching me. Oh, you can see how I felt. The manager gave me an appointment 1st of November, 1st of May. We record this result in March. April passed. May he gave me. So I went to a district office and resigned. The man told me, I told him that I wanted to take first year people teachers examination with the rest. Say you can't do it. This is May. August is the date for exam. And these boys have studied since January. So I begged him to send my name. If I fail, let me fail. The man said, this is that close entry. So I begged him and he sent my late entry. I went down and bought books. I went to the news station. Studied. I never slept. Especially on Fridays, knowing that Saturday would be holiday, I stayed reading till the cock crew. Studied and studied and studied. We went to college for the first year people teachers examination. By October, Mission Council met because they used to bring the results. And I passed. Most of those people who were employed in January failed. So the manager had to take his car, come inside that booth to say, you've passed. You've surprised me. You've surprised me. So January, I'm sending you to Use School, where your mother is near. Because I was a small boy. So I was getting 15 shillings a month. So January, I went to, they put me there as second year people teacher. A salary of £1.5. And we were 6 second years in that school that year. August, we all went to take the second year people teachers examination. All the 6 passed. We were down to come down to Waddell and take the entrance into the teacher training. Secondary, I never smelled that area because I had no money to enter. So we went in for teacher training, and the course lasted for 4 years. You see, government was paying. Government, at that time, teachers were lacking. Government decided to be training 15 teachers every year for the country. So I was there. And they worried us. They said, look, if you fail this examination, you will be thrown out. The government was watching all our improvement every term. And we had 3 exams a year. First term exam came, the state exam, I was third. And I thanked my star. Oh, half-year boy top. Another half-year boy second. You know, mission council is all the mission over, or half-year, to this, college and this, all together. Second term came, I was fourth. The Nook pushed me down. The top boy was put down. The second boy followed him. Another boy from down here went up. That was what happened. Competition. I said, aha, this is what I wanted. Third term came, I was third again. So my position was not bad. Second year came, we were promoted. Constant, and didn't go out anywhere studying. The boys began to label me bookworm. It was no business of mine. Final term, the second year, I topped that class and beat the second man by 105 marks aggregate. That meant that even if we took another exam and I had not, nobody would touch me. That was how I came into this, to be eyes of all the authorities.
Much of Pa Efiong Ukpong public life revolved around teaching and school administration, but he was and is still very passionate about writing and his alma mater, the Waddell Training Institution Calabar.
To say practically, I'm married to the school. I came here as a student, 1939. Passed out, 1940. I went overseas and came back to Waddell. And I climbed up. From then I became a teacher, teaching Latin. Then they promoted me to vice principal. And government began to give trouble. So I was too fast. The reason because government had taken over schools and they wanted promotion to take the way of government according to service years. But the principal, the people told them that the missionary told them they promote people by efficiency. That was why they kicked me up to vice principal, 1966.
Elder EUIA, Efiong Ukpong has left tremendous legacy in Waddell. The most tremendous legacies he left is the impact on the lives of generations of students that passed through Waddell. He is about the only person who has had the privilege of heading Waddell 2 times, between 1974 and 1979, and then between 1984 and 1986. If you know the number of students that passed through his hands within that period, then he has made tremendous legacy. Somewhere he has been called a repairer because it looks like whenever Waddell was into disarray, he was called up to restore, and that he did. Not forgetting that he had been a student in Waddell, he had been a teacher in Waddell, he went abroad for further studies, came back to Waddell. When I was here, he was my vice principal, and you could not pass through his hands without being affected by him. So that is one way. The second way, he is also about the only person that has made copious documentation of the life and works of Waddell. He has published a book, Waddell Life and Works, from 1894 to 1978, where he has gone down to document those things that we could very easily forget. The activities of staff, the activities of students, the exploits in academics, in sports and all. Chief Aye. Not forgetting that at his age, he's also about the oldest active intellectually, old student, old teacher, old principal of Waddell. So he's a reference point.
And one thing that really stood him out was on when he was retiring, leaving the school, when a team of auditors went, you wouldn't believe it, Etiaye gave account of every bulb. He went to the minutest detail to give account of even bulbs that had died and were replaced from the day he became principal till the end. We don't have such people in this society anymore. When he was principal in TTC, Calabar here, there used to be water problem. He organized somebody to come and fix the water, got the Ministry of Education to pay the man. Students enjoyed flow of water in the shower. Later, the man went to thank him unasked. The man went to Etiaye's house with yams, money and goods. Etiaye drove him away. Said, look, if you had the money, you would not have come to do the job. That's one unique thing about him. Not in these days when people ask for 10% before the contracts are given.
A principal who made sure that things worked out. A principal who instilled discipline, practically and otherwise, in the school. And I must say that during his time, Waddell was historic because he created a crop of students that went into the society. We went out as a good ambassadors trained by Efiong. And a lot of us today are proud of what we are because of that personality we are talking about now.
He remains one among very few Nigerian academics whose teaching career traversed all tiers of education. EUIA has taught primary, secondary, and university students. He supervised the doctorate thesis of some. Who is the man Efiong Ukpong?
Remember particularly when he taught us the African history. In 1965, that was about the first year they introduced the African history into the syllabus of the secondary schools. And we passed through his hands. And all of us who took history in that class did very well. Majority having alpha. Chief Iwayi should be remembered for his devotion to his calling as a teacher. He molded us and he really exposed us to be aware of our surrounding, particularly through his lessons in history and geography. While we were here, we knew so much about the continents outside here. And we knew so much about the Bakassi, which was the Bakassi Peninsula, which has come to be an international issue today, affecting the Cross River State, Nigeria, and the Cameroons. Way back in 1963.
He's one principal that has met some of us where we are today. He had been a role model, and it is I decided to follow his footprints. I decided to be a teacher because of Efiong, because of the inspiration he gave to us. He was a pragmatic principal that never slept. You see him all over the compound from morning till night. We used to wonder whether he normally slept at all. Because you see him in this dormitory by 1 a.m., in the next dormitory by 3 a.m., in the next one by 4 a.m., moving from one place to the other, coordinating activities in the school.
Aye is an embodiment of discipline. He's a disciplinarian to the core, in the sense that he's a very time-conscious person. And he makes sure that he instills discipline, especially when he was the principal of Hope Waddell. That's what most people know him for. He instilled so much discipline in his students that today, many of the students, you could find them because of Aye and because of what he had done for them in terms of discipline, in terms of education. You can find them in so many places now. I would say his greatest contribution is in developing the human resources sector.
Talking about Elder Iyaye is like recalling one's process to life. And I tell you, that man represents discipline, he represents hard work, he represents the complete person that you would want to mold your child. You would find as a model for your child. I tell you that for those of us who passed through him in Hope Waddell, we recall Elder Iyaye as one who will ensure that you wake up on time, you are on time on everything. He's a sticker to time.
But if I see you trying to help yourself, if I can help you, I'll do it too, but I can't block. That is what we lack in this country.
I'll say Chief is one person who has impacted so much on the society, though not in terms of material things. And he's one man whom the society doesn't really appreciate yet while alive. In fact, as a person, I've learned a lot over the years through my association with Chief Efiong Ukpong. I first met him in 1970 when I entered Hope Waddell as a student. But even then, to know the mark of the man, when he was transferred from Hope Waddell in 1970, all the students marched to Eswene's office. Then Eswene was the governor, protesting his transfer. Etiaye, over the years of observing him from afar and getting close to him, I would say Etiaye illustrates the folk adage, et Maria ebruwem. If you eat well, you will live long. You may not know, the man is now the oldest pensioner in this land.
While some say he is a colossus, icon and national treasure, others say Pa Aye is a hero, yet an obscure personality with a single focused vision on what he stands for and believes in.
Read his work, I value it very highly, and beyond that, I go sit at his feet. I learn from him one-on-one, which is the best way. And I admire his efforts because his life seems to have been and continues to be a single focused vision on writing the history of this area. So he's sacrificing his blood, sweat, and tears for everybody in this region. So that's why I consider him to be a national hero. And I've learned so much from him, and I respect him very, very highly. I wish there were others like him, but just him being here is enough, because it's very important that his legacy is taught, is spread, and continues to reach younger people so they will be inspired to follow his footsteps. He's written dictionaries of Efiong. He's written biographies of important historical figures here. He's written about the church in this area, which is the first church in Nigeria, I believe. And he's been close to so many literary figures who are now gone, like E.E. Amaku. I'm now in the process of translating Amaku's work with the Department of Linguistics at UNICAL, with members of that department and others. We're trying to take this wonderful Efiong literature that Aye has been part of and make it known to the world.
When we discovered some time ago that Efiong language was no more one of the subjects listed under WAEC syllabus and subjects, and then we were worried over the years. I think outside Yoruba Bible, they had Efiong Bible before any other Bible, and Efiong was no more taken as a subject in WAEC. They contacted WAEC and they insisted that they had too many old books. They needed to introduce 12 new books to meet up the current syllabus. He was one of those they consulted, and then Governor Donald had to release 3.6 million and gave them the task of writing books. They consulted him at length widely with the later CAC, not the senior CAC. There were two CACs who were writing, and within a short span of time, they churned out 12 books, all thanks to him too. And now Efiong is back as a subject in a WAEC, because for your language to be listed, you must actually present a complete lexicon of your language. It could be taught, it could be learned, you could use it to communicate effectively and also translate.
Unfortunately, Chief Aye is a very quiet and private man. He will not even want to talk about himself. He will not want you to bring him up to limelight, but he stands out there. He's a colossus. He belongs to the generation of icons, not only for Nigeria, but for Africa and the black man.
But I would want Aye to be remembered as a solid man who stood up to do his best for his community through building men and women, impacting self-discipline, which is the ultimate to success.
He never talked too much, but he was a disciplinarian. He infused discipline into all the students who passed through Hopewell during his period, and that has really helped a lot of us, and it has helped most of us to be what we are today. I believe that whoever took over from Aye will continue in the same footsteps as Aye left footprints in his time.
During his public service years, Aye was a teacher for many years at the Waddell Training Institution Calabar, Ejele Memorial Girls Secondary School, Calabar. Later became principal to several other schools, including Waddell Government Secondary School, Creektown, Ejele Memorial Secondary School, all in Cross River State. What is his view on educational standards yesterday and today?
A vast difference. It's a very vast difference. Education in Nigeria at the moment has collapsed. Look, let me tell you one thing. I have children who are attending school. They sent a letter, sort of letter, to parents stating the time they should pay such and such a fee. You know what they write? You have to pay your fee before such and such a date. Instead of before, they write BE/4. B4. Instead of writing before. How can you teach children like that with such kind of nonsense? Left to me, I sack that teacher. Missionaries are not here. They are not training teachers. They just pick them.
You can't. From what I've passed through two teacher training colleges, here and in Britain. Teachers, their responsibility, they control the education all over the world. And for that kind of thing to happen, you small children, you instead of teaching them how to spell B-E-F-O-R-E, you go and write B-E-4. It's serious. Very, very serious. I've taught from kindergarten, I've taught primary, I've taught secondary, all the forms of the secondary, and I've taught in the university. Now tell me, how many people can get such an experience? For somebody to teach small children, you write that, you ruin them. That's what you're having in school. And people are there in the Ministry of Education, and they don't even scrutinize. They don't watch. Look at this. It's serious, very, very serious. The way forward is a complete change of attitude by the authorities. Teachers are not trained. Look, I passed through mission teachers training properly. All those things are doing very dangerous to children. Teachers, they should concentrate on teacher training colleges. Very important.
Interestingly, at 92 years, Etaye is an author of 10 books, holds the national honor of Member of the Federal Republic, MFR, and twice served as the principal of Waddell Training Institution, one of the most famous secondary schools in Nigeria. Nigeria then and Nigeria now. What is your vision for Nigeria tomorrow?
I don't know, because the organization today should produce its effect tomorrow. But this is a collapse period. Unless our rulers look at a powerful country like Nigeria. If somebody is disciplined, man discipline the country to make it a country, all the races could stay together. No other country will be better than Nigeria anywhere in the world. The inhabitants are young people, talented, very efficient, but we don't exploit the situation. Look at the time when people were sent to be governors and they carried away money. It's a very, very bad and wicked thing for a country. And at the moment, there is not enough money to circulate. That is why people kill one another to get it. Because if they should use the money they've given them to develop a country, people will get employment. And the moment they get employment, money will come and will circulate. But there is no money.
Iyuaye holds a degree in Latin with classical history from Trinity College, University of Dublin, postgraduate diploma in education, University of Wales, England, and a master's degree in Latin with classical history.
Remember, no more me. I'll be dead. The moment you die, it's all finished. All this knowledge, all these things I'm doing, gone. You're waiting for that last day when Christ will come.
So, I mean, you have some traits.
Yes, whatever they will say will be their own. People will even contradict. There will be people who will condemn me to hell. There are people who will talk well to make me be what they want. That's the world. I don't know actually, but I know that life, we don't live it as we should live it. The man who designed this universe is making an experiment. Put human beings there. He wanted them to live forever. And he made this planet where he would be visiting. But man disappointed him from the beginning. And because of that, death came in. Whatever people will say, I stick to Christianity. One thing is that it's a religion
which is very adaptable. You can twist it to do what you like.
Pa Iyuaye is blessed with 4 children, Pamela, Efiong, Ukpong, with his wife Miranda, a retired customs officer. She's also a native of Click Town in Odupang local government area of Cross River State, but of Mbarakom lineage. She speaks glowingly about her husband of many years.
His best mood is when he's in the library. That is the only best mood you can find him. Always with his books. He doesn't want disturbance. You know, at the early stage when I got married to him, I was complaining that this man is so buried with his books. But my late mother told me that you have to adjust. Soon he will know that he's no more alone, he's with somebody. And I thank God. Everything has taken shape. In public life, they have to take everybody to themselves. Try to listen to what is their problem if they consult you, and try not to keep malice or an enemy with anybody. Whether they hurt your feelings, laugh over it. At home, you have to take the children, your husband, first, especially his own. He loves drinking tea. So that tea must be ready, whether in the morning or at any time he wants it. And he's feeding. I think anything about him, it should be ready there for him when he needs them.
At times when I go out, I happen to meet one of the old boys. When they heard that name, Aye, they say, ask me which of the Aye. I now tell them the former principal of Hobodo. They will now say, oh, Ete Aye. That man has been flogging me. He likes taking pipe each time he comes around the dormitory at night. When we hear the scent of his pipe, we start running up and down. We're talking about that he's a very disciplined man. He doesn't take any nonsense from anybody, and he's a very hard-working person.
I don't take any step when it comes to Efik literature without going to CIA and consulting with him. And so he's a treasure, really. How could we learn about the past of this area without his work? I don't know. So it's a pleasure, and I pray that he lives for many, many more years in good health and good mind, so we can continue learning from him.
So if you want to know anything, especially about Nigeria, he is the nearest you can grab. We don't have any museum. We don't keep documents about our history. Anything that we do, everything is with Efiong here. So for him, he means so many things to so many people. The mere fact that he's still alive is a miracle. I'm telling you, because he works so hard, tirelessly. Even till now, he still writes till late. So we wonder where he gets the extra energy, to continue the work.
One of Iyuaye's hobbies is football, a game he says was first played in Nigeria at the grounds of the Waddell Training Institution in 1902. He said football then was called the Calabar game.
In the 1930s, they were calling it Calabar game in this country.
Not football?
No, wherever it was played, they just said it was Calabar game.
Okay. Oh, football then was called Calabar game?
In the 1930s. Then it began to spread to all the schools. And most of the teachers trained here carried the football to where they were sent to teach. That was the old bell. That's the bell. They used to ring that bell. Sometimes they want to catch those boys who used to move out in the night secretly. They rang that bell. One stroke, gong, and you'll see all the boys will be shouting, surprise!
In the course of putting together this piece, I found in Chief Iyuaye a wonderful father, a wonderful friend. And shortly after our stroll through the Waddell football pitch, I asked him this question: Chief, have you ever played football?
Yes, when I was a young man.
Which is your wing? Which wing do you play?
I used to play left outside.
Which one is left outside, Chief?
So things have changed. You have the goal here, the goalkeeper, 2 backs. They still are doing that.
You tell us.
2. This is a football. This is goalkeeper there. You have backkeeper here, backkeeper there. You follow that?
Yes.
Then you now next 3.
Yes.
Then they put 5 there. That's how they used to. And my wall was always left outside.
That was your wing.
Yeah.
So how did you master the wing? Can you tell us the story?
No, it's because I cook it with my legs, my left. Then my legs move better than right.
Okay.
That's why I show you, and the leg you're going this way.
So football then and now, what is your analysis of
I
football?
don't know if things have changed vastly. Very, very cheap, but the only thing is that they play well now. I like brutality, no more. You see, no more brutality in the field. And in my day, people were not using boots, barefoot. But I was not a star.
I know there are Hope Waddell boys in Dallas. When I went to Dallas, there are Hope Waddell boys in Dallas, and so many of them till tomorrow speak glowingly about Aye. Not to talk of the ones here, the ones in Abuja. When Aye went to Abuja for his award, and that was a member of Federal Republic, he was, this was the time of the era of President Obasanjo. The way he was received, his boys, he never even knew it. It was in his hotel room. His boys came and they were so happy to be associated with him. So I'm telling you, as a student, former student of Aye, because in my final year he supervised my project, Aye is just a man that we have very, very few of such. Not only in the state, but
people should be able to come together and set up Efiong Ukpong Aye Educational Foundation, organize annual lectures, and so that the thing he loves best will still continue: advancement of knowledge, education, encouragement of young people. You know, one of the things that excites him, we who were toddlers when he was teaching, we whom he caned with joy, he now sits back to see us, and he feels contented that his labor is not in vain. Very few adults look that way. Some would think that having been top, he should be top, but Aye wants to see his children grow up and become known. So something should be done in an enduring way to immortalize his works and his contributions to the Nigerian state and to humanity.
Great minds have often come and gone. Charismatic leaders live and die. Mentors and benefactors set and blaze trails that live after them.
Well, I know that he is a very famous person among many generations for his work at Hope Waddell, number one. That's another reason why he's so important. He has helped nurture the youth of this area for generations and continues to. And for that, he's famous around the world, because people who went to Hope Waddell are now around the world. They've gone on. And so he knows a lot of the secrets of this place, and he's well loved by everybody. People talk about him with utmost respect. Whether they like him or don't like him, they respect him. And that's a sign of a great man. How best can we immortalize him? By continuing to read his books, continuing to publish his works as they become sold out. Very important. And I hope that an archive will be created of his works. He has a lot of unpublished work. It's not published. We have to get this work out. And so I would ask that before he passes or he goes into transition, people will come and help him somehow to get his unpublished works out. Because the man continues to work every day. He doesn't rest in his 90s. I can only hope to be like that. So I beg, let's not wait till he passes. Let's start now. and see what we can do to help the man get his works out.
The footprints people make is what makes history. Men who make history are looked upon as heroes of their generations. Chief Elder Efiong Ukpong has laid footprints in the sands of time. It remains a reference point when legacies of building the intellectual capacities of Nigerians is made mention of. Up till date, even at 92 years of age, he still writes and has about 7 finished unpublished works to his credit still lying yet unpublished. It remains a colossus, an icon, a national treasure in the educational sector.
My message is sincerity in service. Everybody. It's very paying. If you are sincere to your work, you will be sincere to your God, you should be sincere to humanity, and God will record it.